Welcome one, welcome all. It is the Millie Roundtable, but no Millie up top. It's a $1 million prize pool on DraftKings this week. As always, I am joined by former Millie Maker winner Felix, aka Crying Buffalo, if you want to catch him on Twitter, and his Best Ball Nation for his YouTube. You can see that link in the description.
Seven away from 400. 7 away from 400. I don't plug myself typically. So.
Yeah, go ahead, man. It's normally we always do the Sunday slate. We do it on Saturday night, but for this week and next week, if you're okay with that, Felix, we might be doing covering the Saturday slate on this Millie Roundtable, as we don't have a lot of content out for the Saturday slate. As we got a 2-gamer this week and a 2-gamer next week, so it should be fun. Should be a great time ahead of us. Felix, how are you doing, man?
Man, it can't be one. Where I'm at, it's 60-degree weather. The kids are with grandma while we get things, ready for Christmas. So it's Christmas season. Got my Christmas DraftKings sweater next to me. It's a good weekend.
And the DraftKings Christmas sweater, I mean, that goes so. That's one of the best ones in the business there, And then you get the Quentin Jammer jersey on. I think life is good.
Life is good.
Life is absolutely good. For those wondering, the 2 games that we got on tap. We got the Eagles taking on the Commanders, going into Washington to do that. And then we got the Packers taking on the Bears. The spread, a little bit tighter than I would have thought without Micah Parsons. The Packers got torched last week on defense. I mean, if you go back to the prior week, too, I mean, they kind of crumbled just a little bit in that second half and almost blew it against the Bears. And, yeah, it's going to be a good game, though. I just hope that maybe the Packers D-line can hold on. I know Micah is going to be a big deal, Felix, and that's probably the main storyline. The Commanders shutting down Jaden Daniels for the rest of the season. And we got a lot to talk about. It might just be 2 games, but we got a lot to talk about. First thing I'm going to do, Felix, is I got my NFL Pro up, NFL Pro subscription to go through all these defenses, right?
Yeah.
And the Bengals have actually surprisingly been moving up in their secondary, right? They're all the way up to 28.
They're getting a little bit better.
A little bit. Yeah.
First year underneath the new defensive coordinator, he was already struggling. It was bound to get better eventually.
Yeah, we went from historically bad to just really bad. We take that, but
still historically bad against tight ends. But still.
and maybe
I'm still Waller this week. Oh my God.
Oh gosh, yes, and Likely and Andrews both put up a dud last time out. The Commanders are 29th against the pass in yards allowed per game. Felix, they're all the way down to 29th. You were on that the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Targeting against the Washington Commanders is a good thing. Dart and Tracy both had good games, but it wasn't like neither knew. Theo had a decent game, but we didn't really get the explosion that we were wanting from that Giants team against the Commanders last time out.
Yeah.
Other teams on this slate too. So the Packers, they're they were kind of slipping down the totem pole just a tad, right? They were in the top 5. Now they're 7th, but without Micah Parsons, gave up over 300 passing yards last week to the Broncos. We could see that pass defense kind of deteriorate just a little bit, right? That would be my initial thought. Going through the rest of these teams, the Eagles are 9th. It's easy to rise up the board when you're going against Kenny Pickett. I watched a lot of that game. Oh gosh,
you did? Oh my gosh, I couldn't watch any of it. It was bad.
It was absolutely horrible. And
the
Eagles don't need to throw, and we could see a similar theme. And I can't wait to talk about these quarterbacks. The last team in the pass here is the Bears, sitting at 18th, just a little bit below average. Makes sense. I mean, they got their linebackers back too, so teams are starting to throw against them just a tad more. Rushing attack. Here's what we got here, Felix. We got Packers are 8th. I still expect them to be decent against the run, right? But the Bears have been running it better than most teams in recent weeks.
I mean, they ran it on the Eagles here in the first game. They ran it on them all day. I think 200 rushing yards almost.
Guy and Swift, I think, were both in the showdown winner without a doubt. It was an ass whooping. It was.
Yeah.
And you're going to see the Packers. That's the best on the slate there. But again, when you're going against this Bears rushing offense, there's definitely a lot of room to still get killed. Commanders are last on this slate, 28th in the league, so 136.6 allowed per game. I'm going to go ahead and just get ahead of the take here. That rushing attack looked horrible again last week.
Yeah.
And we're going to have –
it's a split. Now it's going to be Chris Rod's back. So,
Oh, yeah, not even considering the Eagles too. Is like you got the Eagles now. What they are 22nd against the run. They've fallen down to much below league average. Rodriguez, it should be his backfield. I mean, Cross
Yeah,
probably earned some touches too. He didn't perform bad. I'll say that against the Giants there. McNichols, it's still a three-headed monster there. And then the last team that I have yet to mention, what is it? The Bears, they're sitting at 23rd. So you got below average rushing defenses on this slate. The Bears kind of suffered without their linebackers for the most part at some point in that season. So, yeah, I don't want to get too ahead of ourselves and just say the running attacks will be something that we'll target. But that's that. Felix, position by position time. We're going to be starting with the quarterbacks here. Jalen Hurts is the top projected guy at 6,900. Caleb Williams is also here at 5,500. Kind of shocked that the ownership disparity is as high as it is right now because Jalen Hurts, what did we see last week, right? We saw the Eagles put up 31 points and him hit up Dallas Goedert on a couple of touchdowns, right? But only threw the ball 15 times. And if you want to make the case that maybe he's running more, he didn't look spry last week. That's one word. He looked like it looked like Eli Manning running out there. I mean, it was but I don't see what the merit is other than going against a really bad defense. And if the Eagles are going to score points, it's got to come through either Hurts or Saquon. So I mean, and we both hate this Commanders defense. What are you doing with the Eagles?
So I ran a sim earlier, and I just felt more comfortable with. I was like, I'm going to pick a quarterback and probably hunker down on that one. And I'm with the field here. I'm probably going to have a lot of Hurts. I think JJ McCarthy looked good, and we all know that we've been kind of off JJ's since he's looked, wishy-washy and against good defenses. This is clearly one of the ones you can attack. It could be a little dump off screen. I wouldn't rewatch the conference championship game from last year. Now, they are a far different team, different O-line, but Washington's D has gotten 10 times worse. So I'm like, if they can get pushed a little bit, I think they have the best outcome for an easier score. Now, I think he's going to outscore everybody by a handful, but you're going to pay the price and the ownership for it. So I think that's why you see a little bit of both towards him.
Yeah, I mean, it's the Hurts tag, 6,900. Yet the next closest is 5,700 with Jordan Love. Yeah. You're exactly right. This Washington Commanders team, especially over the last 4 weeks, has been bad. I mean, you can't even sugarcoat it, right? Like, at the end of the day, this is a really bad defense going against an offense that did just put up 31. Like you said, J.J. McCarthy and the Vikings put up 31 against them. Jackson Dart, 21. Bo Nix, 27. And then even that game against the Dolphins, they made Tua look serviceable overseas. And that was just an awful game, though. But in the last 3 weeks especially, you lose your anchor, you lose Jaden Daniels, and you lose Ertz. It's going to be a little bit of a gross game. And honestly, if you were to guarantee me 28 or 4 touchdowns, say, from the Eagles side of things, which is very possible. We just saw it last week.
Yeah.
I mean, you could easily double stack Hurts. And he's probably the easiest to stack in the sense. I think Caleb would probably be number 1, actually, just because, with Odunze and Burden out.
Yeah.
If Caleb is going to have success, it's going to be through probably Loveland, Moore, right? Probably wouldn't expect much more than that. With Hurts, you do know that it's Smith, Brown, or Goddard.
Dude, this whole Burden thing being out is killing me for Caleb. I have in my 3 best ball shares left that I got wiped out last week. Caleb is definitely my quarterback that I own on both of them, and man, he's gonna be with. He is somebody I'm struggling with, like where he's gonna be at this week. I don't know. What are your thoughts on Caleb? Actually, I should start with that.
Well, my thoughts on Caleb. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a Packers team that we had this preface where, they're a really good defense with Micah Parsons, right? They're getting to the quarterback. They're doing a whole lot of things. Well, over the last 3 weeks, even with Micah Parsons in, right, what did they do against the Lions? They gave up, 250 yards. They were much tougher against the run. Jameson Williams had a huge day. That was the game that Amon-Ra got hurt, right? Amon-Ra St. Brown. All right, next week, the next week after that, Caleb Williams comes to town. They hold him to 19 for 35, but he still had 186. But you still had Luther Burden who put up an okay score. You had Colson Loveland catch a touchdown. And it just becomes like, okay, maybe they figure things out. And then Bo Nix, 302 yards, 4 touchdowns. And that's the part that I can't get out of my head. Is this the Packers defense that we're going to see without Micah Parsons? Is it going to be the team that gave up 300 yards to Bo Nix? And my answer, Felix, probably. You know me, I don't like Caleb as a quarterback. I think he's a terrible quarterback, and there's a decent chance that he just completes 50% of his passes tomorrow. But they should be able to run the ball effectively because that's what they do, right? They run the ball effectively. And you know that he's got some rushing upside, right? Like he probably should use his legs way more because there's so many times where he'll scramble out and not run it.
Yeah.
That'll chuck it out of bounds or chuck it 10 feet over a wide receiver's head. I mean, that's the infuriating part is that he's got so much more ability to run. But
just looking at it last two weeks ago when they faced each other, he was getting pressured by Micah, and he was, instead of tucking it and running it because he figured that Micah was going to catch him, he would throw these like missiles to the people's feet. And I think without Micah there, I think he has a couple extra seconds and might tuck it and run it more, which might give him more of a rushing upside this week.
You would hope, right? But it's like the last 3 games, nothing above 15 rushing yards. I mean, the last time you put up even more than 30 was the Giants game, 63. The Bengals one before that was 53. And I felt like the Bengals one, if he wanted to put up 100 yards on the ground,
he could have,
Like he legitimately had multiple times where he threw out of a 15-yard scramble. And that's one game that I got to watch from start to finish. And it's frustrating because the upside that can happen. If he was even serviceable with his arm, I don't think he's serviceable at all, and he's still putting up decent scores. But again, it becomes the path where he's so easy to stack. And look, the Bear, and without Burden, without Odunze, you can make the case, well, they're down some of their key offensive pieces, which, that's true, right? But again, we've already seen him have decent success with DJ Moore and Zacchaeus already this season.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm not exactly worried about that. DJ Moore last week, 29 routes, 5 targets. Zacchaeus, 25 routes, 3 targets, no catches. Great. Loveland, 21 and 5. So who would step up? Maybe they go more 2 tight end sets too. Hell, maybe you see Monungai and Swift share the field a little bit. But again, the sweet spot on these guys, Hurts and Caleb Williams especially, is very nice. And, this is why I don't love Jordan Love, right? Because we had – here's something for you, right? They dropped back a ton last week. All right, let me go ahead and just double check how many times they threw the rock. But the Packers last week in that game against the Broncos, they were chasing the game a little bit late on too. They were down going into that fourth quarter, and they threw the ball 40 times. Romeo Dobbs, 33 routes. Jaden Reed, 31. John Fitzpatrick, 25. Musgrave, 24. Wicks, 21. Christian Watson, 19. Matthew Golden, 19. So you got a bunch of guys, and that's not even including the running backs, Jacobs, Brooks, and Wilson, kind of all split in the same ballpark. Who are you going to stack Jordan Love with, right? Because this is the issue is you got 5 wide receivers, you got 2 tight ends. It doesn't feel as great, but maybe they are forced to chase this game a little bit more, right? Maybe this game has a few points added on without Micah in the mix. Maybe the Bears kind of control it, and I think Jordan Love's a good quarterback. I genuinely do.
I kind of think so. I think he's streaky, but I think he's a better end of the streaky kind of guy.
Did Watson get hurt or something last week? What
happened? Dude, he looked like he broke his collarbone the way how hard he came down on his chest. That's what it looked like, but apparently it was better. It wasn't as bad as what it looked like. It says he's questionable. I don't see how he plays the way he came down on it. I don't know how he plays this week, but maybe I'm wrong. I rather think they take him out and play Wicks. Get ready for the playoffs. I know they're not locked into the playoffs yet, but I don't know. I feel like they're risking Christian Watson for no reason.
This game is important. This game
is important, but it's like, man, like Christian Watson's important to your team. If he's not healthy, you're not going to do anything in the playoffs.
That is true. I mean, at the end of the day, let's see. I want to see the Seahawks schedule at the end of the year. So they got the Panthers.
They got the Panthers next week. Yeah.
So that makes sense. And then
I like Reed too. The chat's going on here. I'm kind of like, I think that's who if I'm going to pair it with anybody, I'm going to pair it with Reed. And then if I need to save some cash, it's going to be Wicks. I think Watson is going to be a decoy, if anything, if he's out there. The way he fell down, we went down last week. It was pretty not scary, but like that looked like it hurt, kind of deal.
Yeah, we love the Coach Feek Index. Greg Brano stuff.
Yeah.
Right? And what LaFleur said, encouraging for the word was the word for Christian Watson. We might get more clarity on it tomorrow too. But yeah, I mean, you guys in the chat here, you know what you just mentioned too. Jaden Reed ran 31 routes last week. That's great, right? If you were to tell me that he's going to run 80% of the routes again, definitely good at 5K. Ran the majority of them from the slot too. So one thing that I can do too, I love doing this on NFL Pro. I know I'm not sharing my screen there yet, but we can check where the Bears rank against the slot overall. And they are in the bottom 7 against the slot, bottom 6, excuse me. So Jaden Reed being a guy who could thrive in that slot role, obviously where he has, when he has been healthy in his career, I do like Jaden Reed. I guess that's the guy you trust, right?
Yeah.
And Wicks, if Watson's out, I think would be my number 2. And then Dobbs. But Dobbs has kind of just been mediocre.
Dobbs has been like, he's either the person that they built the offense around that week, or he's not. Like, he's not really involved. I don't know if you feel the same way, but it feels like he is a person that if they make a game plan for it, he excels. So you'll have like 3 touchdowns for 60 yards, and it's like
it's the red zone targets, right? Like, all of a sudden you just you full fade him, and then he's catching a touchdown, right? Like
he's Kenneth Walker for me. Like, I just cannot get this guy right ever.
The Kenneth Walker thing, oh boy, oh god, I can't stand.
I almost faded him, but I was watching the show with JSU and Big T, and I was like, JSU's right. This is not the time to fade him. Thank God. Yeah, I did.
I had a really good. I was winning the showdown there, and if that 2-point conversion wasn't given, I think that game ends really differently. I think the Rams could have milked the clock all the way, and I didn't have Charbonnet, right? But the group behind us did, and it was a pretty nice shot too. And the fact that I was so pissed off.
I was at 1,200. I was like, I did 5 lineups. I was like, I was 1,200. But not close enough.
The Kenneth Walker play was all the running backs were. That was the crazy part. All the running backs, Corum, Charbonnet.
Yeah.
Obviously had Corum. I don't think was in the winner. Despite even getting like 13, it was just Charbs and Kenneth Walker together. That's what made the chop so nice too, is that no one wanted to pair them together. Reed would be my guy with love.
Yeah.
The only guy I don't really care for is Mariota. He looked bad last week.
He looked really bad last week, and then and there's a reason why the chalk defense. And we'll get to it later, but there's a reason why it's Mariota's the bottom of the totem pole here. I think he's going to give up too many ducks. This defensive line is starting to come into form. I know they destroyed the Raiders last week, and everybody's destroying them, but I think it's going to be another tough week for the Commanders. And I'm not touching Mariota. I'm going to grab a Senate, and I'm going to grab McLaurin when we get to those pieces, probably as like one-offs, not to stack with.
Yeah, it's interesting. Mariota only completed 10 passes, one of those being a downfield bomb to Terry McLaurin, but I feel like he also missed a bomb earlier in that game. Yeah. Debo, 3 for 43. It's just like, if they want to stick in the game, they got to run the ball, right? And unless Mariota's running it, which I think he had 40 rushing yards last week too. And that's good enough if you were to keep doing that. So you can't like completely dismiss him. But at the end of the day, it really does feel like he's a distant 4th, right? Yeah. And I'm starting to talk myself on the Love more than Caleb. And I wasn't really expecting that. But without Micah Parsons, those two, it's Hurts, it's Love, it's Williams. But I really think you can interchange Love and Williams. And look, that's the way the projection.
I agree with you that it's Love over Williams. And it's because I think with Burden and Odunze being out, they're going to go to that run game pretty heavy, and they did it just a few weeks ago when the passing game wasn't there. They leaned on heavy on that running game. I can definitely see it with Parsons being out. They can just run it at whoever's like on that part of the D-line this week. If it's I forget the guy that they drafted a few years back on their line. He's not the greatest run defender, so I can see them attacking that in the rushing.
That's also the thing too, is that if the Green Bay Packers start to have success, Jacobs has had some good games, but it's been mostly through Love's arm, right? Like, when they put up a lot of points, it's mostly been through Jordan Love, and when the Bears put up a lot of points, it's mostly through the running game. And not to say like I said, but it's like when they have success. I mean, in this matchup, 234-3 just 2 weeks ago for Jordan Love. Christian Watson was the one who shined, but you also had Bo Melton. Jaden Reed went 4 for 31 and stuff.
So wild. It's he spreads it out so much. It's almost like take a naked Love and get pieces where it's more condensed elsewhere.
I ain't doing a naked on a 2 game.
I know. It's crazy. It's crazy thoughts. It's nighttime thoughts. I don't know if you watched that Kumani guy. I can't think of his last name, but yeah, nighttime thoughts.
Nighttime thoughts. I love it. Running backs. We're gonna move on from the quarterbacks here. A lot of people played Saquon last week. I didn't love it.
I did.
I kind of got away with it in the sense of like individually, he was probably like just a decent play, and he scored the second touchdown of the game or whatever. It was 50 yards. It threw the ball at the goal line a couple times, right? Like that was the thing. And, my thing is just how bad does the Eagles' running game have to be for weeks and weeks and weeks for us to be like, oh, maybe we shouldn't trust them. I think a lot of people saw that Chargers game when he broke off that 52-yard run. Right?
They're back, yeah.
Yeah, like, and I was, oh, yeah, they fixed the run game. And then you just realize, like, he also had a 19-yarder in there, but then, like, all the 18 other rushes, I don't mean to just one, just 2 runs, but, like, they were still stuffed a ton. They were stuffed a ton against the Cowboys. They were stuffed a ton against the Bears. And they were stuffed a ton against the Lions. Like, just week in and week out, the rushing game is in there, but they're trying to establish it, right? That's the main thing. Running back is so terrible tomorrow.
It's not great.
I'm trying to make the case to fade. And I like every time I get there and it's like, well, who are you going to click? It's like, well,
I'm going to click Swift. I think he's a lock to my
I think so. And then you got to click a second one.
Yeah.
And that's why the ownership on Barkley and Jacobs is so high, right?
Oh, I just saw the and Swift. It's all on all 3 of them. Holy cow.
So the ownership on all 3 is astounding, and it's for good reason, right? Like
you have
a 3-way split for the last team, and it's a 2-way split. Like Monangai and Swift, I mean, they are kind of getting close to interchangeable. It's kind of been like the Corum and Kyron situation where
I agree. Monangai looks really good and explosive, but the coaches just always rely on the old veteran.
Yeah, and it's like, well, Swift is like not even been bad either, right? Like,
no, he's been solid. Yeah, it's either like Kyron the Corum thing. It's like Kyron's not terrible, but you could see the explosiveness in the backup there.
Yeah, and Swift went 18 for 98 last week. Monangai 11 for 33. But if you kind of assume that it is closer to a 60-40 split, like you're definitely going to want some Monangai. Like the week before, week 14, Monangai out-touched DeAndre Swift in the run game, 14 for 57 for Monangai, 13 for 63 for Swift. Go back to week 13. That's when they both ran for over 100 yards against the Eagles, too. They had 40 combined carries. Monangai had 22 of those. And they had 255 yards combined. You don't want to dismiss Monangai, right? That's like the number one thing. You don't want to dismiss him. And I quickly just noticed this. It's just you're going to have a ton of freaking salary. I mean, my gosh.
Yeah, there's easy places to save if you needed to save, but I was building just heavy, like full on Eagle stacks earlier, and I still left it with an extra 3K. And
this is actually slightly concerning where it's just like
you build whatever you want to for this slate.
That's what I was gonna say. If I just plugged in the top position players, right, where it's just like oh my God.
Yeah, you still have 3. Yeah, you can build whatever you want.
I mean, you would have to play a punt tight end, right?
Punt tight end, but there is a punt tight end in Cole Kmet if you needed to.
Yeah, and I don't want to. Yeah, so I mean, like you literally are kind of like,
or no, send it 2,600. You can put send it in this lineup and it builds itself.
Yeah, and it's like not that I would run that lineup at all, right? Like we wouldn't run this lineup. That's just the most expensive guy, and that's just the reality of this slate is. If you are expensive, that's why Hurts is getting so much ownership on Saber. I think it might be just slightly lower, but people are going to be able to fit in Jalen Hurts. People are going to be able to fit in Barkley, Jacobs. People are going to be able to fit in Swift. And the reason why I kind of did that real quick, because I wanted to see, what is the salary situation looking like? Are people going to click Monangai tomorrow? And honestly, I think the answer is no. I don't think he comes in.
After I saw the ownership there, I'm like, well, Monangai is a way better play because if it's going to be it could potentially be a 50-50 split. Like it's not like out of the realm of possibilities.
It was a 50-50 split 2 of the last 3 weeks. The first time that Swift got more touches than him in 2 weeks was last week. So, like, if you were just to individually look at these guys and be like, okay, you have to have the top 2 scorers at the running back position, maybe the top 3.
Yeah.
Right? Monungai has a decent chance to kind of get involved. And I would even say that, like, if you really wanted to get cute, right? And this is where it's just large field tournament stuff. Because when you're playing DFS, and I know a lot of people watching this game, or this show, they might, have their phone up, just building a lineup, just having it on. But it's how many people are going to click Hurts? How many people are going to click Barkley? How many people are going to click Jacobs? And they just feel like obvious plays, but you're competing against thousands and thousands of people.
I think the play is not to skip on Barkley, and I get like how obvious that is. Like, oh, why would you not skip on Barkley? It's the best way to create leverage. I think
20 touches.
I think you hit the chalk with them because it's going to be complete chalk, and then skip Jacobs and Swift and go to Monungai. And just played those 2.
I'm not filling the salary once tomorrow. I'm going to make that bold claim. Like maybe the single entry lineup, but
I think my spy will have a full 50K, but that's about it.
It's like because if Monungai is in the winner, it is incredibly hard to fill the salary, right? It just would be like And unless you're spending up, in the flex and stuff, and it's possible. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, there's decent chance that it's Saquon's 25 touches. It feels right. So if there was a guy I wanted to fade, it would be Jacobs. I mean, the Chicago run defense has got been better since they got their linebackers back. But man, it's not like it's.
I just realized he's more expensive than Barkley.
Yeah, that's why they're just so high owned. I mean, Swift, Monungai. I'm going to have a bear running back in a lot of teams because, like I say, every time I know people are probably sick and tired of it, but it's like. I think Caleb sucks. Why are they winning games? Well, it's not because of Caleb. It's because of this run game. And when you have a running back, so let's kind of go through it. 98 yards for Swift last week. You had Monungai go for 33. The game before, that's when they lost, right? Because they still had a decent game for our guy, Swift. He had 3 catches, 19 yards, 63 yards on the ground too. And if you just get like a touchdown in there, well, now you're really looking at him potentially outscoring Jacobs. I know it's ifs, ands, and buts, but man, that's the path for Swift or Monungai is they get into the end zone and Jacobs or Barkley don't. Like, I'm going to be a little bit sporadic. I think I'm going to be under the field on Saquon and Josh Jacobs, but like in single entry, I think I would be more inclined to fade Jacobs.
I just built a quick lineup and it's saved 1,800 just by not putting in Jacobs. It's 1,800 to spare.
Do you want to talk about I like the Bears running backs. I like both of them. I don't think I would play both in the same line. It's in the cards, all right?
We're missing a whole running back group, but I agree with you that the reason why we're not talking about them is the Redskins Commanders. And I think if you wanted to get crazy different, the Commanders are going to be so far behind. This could be a Cardinals situation where they're just like down in the hole. They're doing a bunch of check down passes. Jeremy McNichols is definitely the third down, the passing down back that could just rack up PPR points. He was, Bill Krosky-Merritt is not the guy that they're going to put in there for. He's just the straight, one first down, second down running back. And Jeremy McNichols could be in there. If they're down by a whole bunch, he could be in there with a bunch of check down passes.
Yeah, and he was utilized a decent bit last game. It's like the only thing I just don't love about it is just like we've seen him go down and just still play 3 guy. Like McNichols in that 31-0 loss only got like one target. And again, that could be another gross game, right? Like
it could. Yeah, I'm not saying he's my favorite play. I'm just saying if you wanted to get crazy different in the milli or not even milli, 300K, that's somewhere you could potentially get. The year that I won the milli, they sent us to a tournament of champions type thing. And Samaje Perine ended up being the hero for the guy who won it because he had like this 32-yard or 40-yard like reception down right before the half for the Bengals. And like that's ingrained in my head. It's like one of these little small scat backs, like that's not heavily featured. It's gonna break the slate with this big old reception touchdown. Which, funny enough, Big T and I had the exact same lineup that was only different in 2 spots.
That's actually
in that tournament. Yeah.
The tournament champions. That's awesome. That was one of the biggest promos they've done.
Yeah, I was awesome. Yeah,
Chris Rodriguez.
I wish they'd bring it back.
Just one catch for Chris Rodriguez all season. So yeah, it's like it's tough to make the case, but McNichols would be the case for what we saw against the Chiefs where he had a big game, right? Like,
right.
Yeah, that's the case. The Samaje Perine stuff. Oh God, love me some Samaje. All right, so wide receiver talk. We kind of loosely talked about these guys when we were talking about quarterbacks, so now we can kind of tighten up the bolts here. The Eagles, it's a two-way street. It's A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. I kind of want to lump in tight ends here. Do you think that would be best?
That'd probably be a smart move, yeah.
Let's do that. And then, yeah, I mean, that's the big three for the Eagles. And
yeah,
big loosely, right? Like, Dallas Goedert looked good last week, but
he keeps killing it, man. He killed it against my Chargers. He's getting more and more involved in this offense. And, yeah. And the way to attack this defense is through the tight end position.
Yeah, and so at 4,100, the problem is, like, he's the most expensive tight end. He's going to be like 50, 60% out.
Yeah, and they're already looking at 46, and I'm like, that's probably only going to get higher.
And who else are you going to play? Colson Loveland? That's
yes. That's exactly who you're going to play.
We both like our Ben Sinnott, right? But at the same time, it's...
Oh, I'm going to play some Ben Sinnott. I might play like a Ben Sinnott and Colson Loveland and fade Dallas Goedert at the price.
Man.
At the ownership.
The thing that kills me about Ben Sinnott, he did get that. He got his over on the last drive of the day. Yeah, that was actually perfect. But it was just the 10 routes, right? Like just the 10 routes for him. Bates ran 16. Yankoff ran 6. It's still a time. I mean, Bates being your tight end number 1, not letting the young guys develop doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah.
But like talking about the Eagles.
Yeah, the Eagles. Yeah.
Like, what's your interest level in Brown, Smith, and Goddard?
Honestly, the one I built for the spy has all three of them put together. Like I built a full on, like they just destroy the Commanders in my mind, and it's like however they want to do it. It could be Smith through the air, like the through the 20s, and then it could be a Brown Goddard touchdown. I feel like if you remember the conference championship game, they put up like 50 points on them. This could easily be a repeat of that, trying to show their dominance right before, because everybody's talking about the Rams, even though they keep losing to these jabroni teams. Everybody keeps talking about them. I feel like they want to make a statement here where everybody's home, everybody's gonna be watching them. I feel like they want to get the bad, primetime taste out of their mouth losing to the Bears. I think it could be a dominant game by the Eagles, and it could be however they want to do it, like, and showing it's going to be a big game by Barkley and the passing game here.
So you're right, and that's where I'm kind of looking at it too. It's just if the Eagles don't want to bash it into the back of their own asses on the offensive line, like these guys could have a big day, and then against Hurts, right? Like, do they really trust him? The answer is probably not, right? So it's like just a whole lot of just fluid stuff, right? You're just kind of grossed out by the whole situation. The 3-man stack, though, in a single entry, I guarantee you that's what Sabre feeds you. And the way they're also going to do it, too, they're going to throw in Monungai, right? So, like, because all these guys are chalk. There's no denying that. They'll throw in Monungai, and then they'll throw in, like, one sub-20% wide receiver and be like, there you go. That's your lineup. The Eagles are going to bash. I like that theory because we just saw 3 touchdowns for him last week, right? Goddard had 2 of them, and Hurts didn't look terrible. It's just the 15 pass attempts were the only thing that kind of kept me back, but because they didn't need to, right? If the Commanders can keep it just slightly close, right? The worst part is you can't just use like a running back, right? You can't use like Chris Rodriguez to try. You could try. I mean, it's not the worst idea in the world, but you almost have to feel like you would run it back with Terry McLaurin, right? Or Debo. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense a little bit.
And my first lineup has Debo in it as a bring back.
Actually, I dig that. I mean, I do.
But the next lineup has Terry McLaurin, so it's like you can have it either way.
Yeah, I mean, let's go to this team here. And honestly, John Bates, great, cool. Yeah, 16 routes last week. But McLaurin was
totally
bad. Yeah. Like, no limit last week, 23 routes, 22 for Debo. Downfield throws for McLaurin were there. Yeah, he could have had 2 touchdowns even. Debo looked okay. I mean, without Ertz, Debo's role. I mean, that was the thing is we got the Sanat catch to get us over that prop, which I was super happy about. But Debo is definitely the one where if they're forced to pass, it's probably him getting 6 or 7 catches.
Yeah.
And I like that. I don't hate that route because there's a chance.
Maybe what I'm thinking what I was talking about with McNichols, maybe they use Debo in that sense of a role where it's a lot of dump offs, a lot of out of the backfield, a lot of screens.
I mean, Ertz went off in these games where they were
yes, and that was like that's all my onset because he had like 16 or 17 catches in that game they got whooped in. It was an absolute wild. Let me pull that game up from last year, but it was an absolute crazy amount of catches last year. I remember because I had him in best ball last year. He's the reason why I got to the finals because I had Ertz from last year.
Yeah, the playoff game, he had 16 targets, 11 catches.
16 targets. Yeah, it was something crazy. Yeah.
It was just funny because it kind of, I think I had his props because I liked Ertz in games that they were chasing, right? Because Jane Daniels would focus a lot on soft coverage check down when they were trailing in the game. And Mariota's kind of similar, right?
Very similar, yes.
Like, we just saw it on Monday Night Football about 3 weeks ago, right? It was November 30th. Ertz went 10 for 106. Right? With no Ertz, who's going to step up into that role? I'm talking myself into Debo right now. I just am. Like, Jalen Carter back. Got to check that. Jalen Carter.
He should be.
2 players ruled out. Oh, hold on. This is my favorite. I love the pro. Goodness gracious.
Debo has 65, receptions, 86 targets so far this year. I mean, obviously Terry was out for a lot of it, but
Jalen Carter probably ain't playing this week. Didn't practice on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday.
He needs to.
Yeah, but he's been out. So if he's out, then I could be talked into a lot more Debo than I currently have. Let's look at Debo's ownership, right? 37. That's not too bad. Again, like being realistic on a 2-game slate, you flip it over to the Packers. This is where, if Watson gets ruled out, Reed probably becomes lower owned or higher owned, I should say. But at 28%, like, man, I could definitely see the case. What these guys were talking about earlier, Mike Schwab, Chris Hendry, like when you guys brought up Reed, makes a lot of sense, and it'll get you slightly different, man. Like these Packers guys with Watson, if he misses, that brings in Dobbs and Wicks, right? But if Watson's in, then it would be Reed and Watson for me. That's about it.
I think even if he's in, he's a decoy. I don't think it's a serious play.
Man, it's just like you have the division on the line here, right? Like it's just the division, the 1 seed possibly too. Like you would need to win out, right? If you're the Packers, right, you would need to win out. They wouldn't have a path to the 1 seed, would they?
No.
They would not.
I think the Bears do, don't they?
The Bears definitely do. Yeah, the Bears definitely do because they would automatically they would be 1 game back as Seattle, and they would be tied with the Rams. That's a fun one. If I got on the playoff machine, I think I could whirl up some stuff. But they would be 7-3 in the conference. So if they won out, they would definitely be ahead of the Rams unless they lost heads up to them earlier, which they haven't, I don't believe. Yeah, they haven't.
You know what? The injury – I don't know, man. If you rewatch the injury, it looks like he was really down on that shoulder pretty hard. I'm just rewatching it real quick right now. It looks pretty bad.
Oh, man. If he misses, that Wicks, right? At 3,700, no one's going below 5K at wide receiver.
Hey, wait, dude, if you're going Wicks, you know how much money you're going to be saving? You're going to be down plus 3,000. Like if you go down to Wicks,
min salary should be really low. 41 is probably good enough. But it makes sense to see lineups that leave like 3,000 or 4,000, and then like look at it and just like, well, the only thing I'm really banking on is just a Wicks big game. We just saw it.
We just saw it. Like was it Thanksgiving? Yeah,
it just went off. Like that's the part. A lot of it's news dependent on Christian Watson, but I think Reed is good enough to be one of the top 3 wide receivers on the slate. And
what
then
about Gold? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, you're good. You flip it over to the Bears, though, and you can follow up on your point on the Packers here in just a second. It's like Moore, Loveland, Zacchaeus. Well, what do they need to be a top 3 wide receiver in the slate? And realistically, have Smith and A.J. Brown done well in the same game this season? Now, I'm not saying it's not going to happen. The Commanders are a bad defense, Felix, but it's like you're kind of running out of names, right? Like
Yeah.
someone needs to be a top 3 wide receiver on the slate. And if it's not Smith, like let's say I hate Smith or I hate Brown, Jalen Hurts sucks because there's a lot of people out there who just think that, right?
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Who else are you going to play? Then get creative at wide receiver. If you really think that, get creative at wide receiver. And I think Brown's probably my favorite though.
Brown, I think, is a lock for 100 yards. I don't know about touchdown wise, like his upside there.
I thought that last week against that. They only had 2 targets. Like they don't. That's the problem. It's just the volume.
Yeah, I locked him into my lineup last week and just thinking, I was like, oh, okay, it's going to be a big explosion game
for that touchdown.
Yeah.
Failed. Oh.
No, it didn't matter. I got scorched last week. I didn't play any.
First time in a long time I got beat on the main slate, which it was so due. It was so due.
Yeah, I had a lot of JMO, like I talked about, and I was just, I got scorched.
The worst part about that slate was the Puka Amon-Ra. It was just like if you just stack the game with like a
That would have just been smart. Yeah, it would have been great.
Oh. Yeah, go ahead. What were you saying about the Packers?
The Golden has been like the murmurs have been upticking a little bit for Golden this past week. Now, as a best baller and friends of Packers,
been ticking all year.
He has been like the ultimate wind sprinter and hasn't done anything yet. If Watson and they want to maybe try to get him more involved, this was kind of the same time where Watson, his rookie year, kind of started going off. It could be like maybe that's just how the way, I forget the coach's name. I always forget his name. Kind of rolls before. Thank you. And like kind of rolls, maybe tries to get him more involved late. Could be that way. I'm not going to say it is, but
makes sense. I mean, it does. It does.
And like you're saying, wide receiver 3 is what we're trying to be banking here. Whoever wins wide receiver 3 this week is probably going to win. Is going to win the money.
Exactly. And do you think out of the Bears, it's got to be DJ Moore? But
it's got to be, yeah. But I'm preference to Zacchaeus because it won you the big money on FanDuel.
I mean, I can never hate Zacchaeus. That guy just gets it done. Yeah. Last week, putting up a goose egg despite running 21 routes is slightly concerning. Didn't do anything against the Packers either. But when he has been featured, you go back to the Ravens game, 10-26, October 26th, 7 for 33, right? Next week against Bengals, 6 for 58 and 1. So you're looking at, the potential where if he were to get 7 or 8 targets like he did in those 2 games where he thrived in, can he get the job done? The answer is I think so, but I think he's appropriately owned at 10%. Genuinely. I think that's an appropriate ownership. But how often does he outperform Jaden Reed? Yeah, I wouldn't say it's 3 times likely, right? Or, I would say it's probably, 25% of the time. So it's like, I definitely want more Reed.
I agree. Yeah, Reed just seems like the play of the play of the week for like the Millie. Like it's going to be sneaky. It's going to be owned, especially if Watson gets ruled out early enough.
I love this, by the way. I love it when the eye test says a lot too. Looking really fast. Reed's always been dynamic. Exactly right. Like if he gets involved and they're running out of Christian Watson's been their best receiver, by far, like over the last few weeks. Like it's realistically, if you were to think 8 targets for Reed, man, I might be full shove. I mean that is just a damn good call. Getting it done. We didn't really lump in the tight ends. We kind of talked about Goddard, and then then we quickly it feels like it's just a regular it's Loveland or Goddard, right?
It really is Loveland and Goddard, though. We both want to play Senate, right? Or maybe it's just me.
I
understand he got outplayed by Bates, and Kmet's going to be a thorn potentially with everybody out too. He was signed to a big deal when he first got put in the Bears. Like obviously they love Loveland and whatnot being so highly drafted, but and the Packers are running 2 tight ends that are rarely used with how they run their offense. It's like he'd rather just throw it deep or throw it deep or play with Reed and his other wide receivers that he has. I don't know. It has to be Loveland. It's got to be Goddard. And if you are crazy like me, it's going to be Sanat. I love Musgrave, but I don't think they use Musgrave like they had Tucker Kraft.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing that, probably caught me the most off guard was going through the snaps, going through the routes of each team. And last week, Fitzpatrick got more routes than Luke Musgrave. They still ran a lot of 2 tight end sets. Don't get me wrong, 25 to 24, 6 targets for Luke Musgrave. Right, like that's still good. And if without Watson, maybe you see that same trend kind of continue a little bit, right, Felix? But man, like Fitzpatrick still had 4 targets, 3 catches. It's the upside. I mean, Musgrave's got a little bit more upside than Fitzpatrick, but man, the punt tight end's not going to be popular tomorrow.
Imagine double punt tight end, Fitzpatrick's in it.
Oh God, it's so gross because like you'll know where the tight end position has to land after that first game. Like,
I love double tight end in 2 game slates, by the way. It is a fault of my own, but I always play double tight end in 2 game slates.
I mean, well, Colson Lovin can easily contend with DJ Moore.
Yeah.
To a lesser extent, Jaden Reed, right? Just the number ones. Yeah. Debo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, right? He can contend if he is getting the targets. And the Eagles, I mean, they've been so volatile. If Goddard has a really underwhelming game, well, then go ahead and hand the trophy off to Loveland, right? Like that's the funny part. Like they're literally splitting the ownership at tight end here, which is so funny. But yeah, I mean, it does feel like a 2-horse race. I don't hate the Kmet thing. It's like the thing with Kmet is like I think it's probably not even a bad play. I'm just like looking at this stuff where it's like Fitzpatrick and Musgrave are involved enough to where if they're unowned, I feel like
if there was a third game on this slate, I think it's like next Saturday has 3 games. Like if it was a third game, we wouldn't even be talking about these guys.
Correct. I swear though that they had like 5 games posted out. I think they were just like placeholders, right?
I think they were placeholders and they were like deciding which game is going to be like on the slate.
I think it was because I could have swore I saw 6 games on Saturday.
I agree, and I think they placed the Chiefs on there thinking that they were going to be in the thing, and then
that game's on
now
Christmas.
they're Oh, that's on Christmas. Okay.
Yeah, that Thursday night game is Broncos Chiefs. The Christmas slate's not great. Cowboys, Commanders, Lions, Vikings, and then Broncos, Chiefs. Which, I mean, you get to watch 9. That's cool.
Yeah.
It's you got a short week ahead for Commanders, but I mean, just if Goddard falls in his face, I could be more inclined to play Musgrave or Fitzpatrick in that second game. But if not, I'm going to have to try and chase with Colson Loveland, right? Like, I'm assuming I'm going to be even with the field on Goddard too. He's like got less routes than Fitzpatrick last. I know he did well. Don't get me wrong.
He had a really big catch. Like it was a fingertip catch. He looks good. The problem is that I just feel like Love doesn't look for Musgrave for some reason, except for these broken plays where he's like 30 yards wide open. The only time he ever throws it to him, and it just really doesn't make any sense. I love Musgrave. I was the Musgrave over Kraft guy, but and that was clearly wrong. But I don't know. I just in this matchup, he'd be okay, but I'd rather pass over him, even though I had his low ownership of 6.
That's all I was looking at too. It's just ownership. It really is. Defense. It's the Eagles.
Yeah, it's the Eagles.
The Bears run the ball so much. They cater around Caleb Williams. They make sure he doesn't have a chance to make too many mistakes. They tell him, if you don't got your first option, throw it away. That's the Caleb Williams way. And then without Micah Parsons too. I could be talking to the Bears defense just in case, like chasing the game a little bit. It's been prone to some mistakes, but the Eagles
he's on the road.
The thing about it is like, what if the Commanders play like they did last week and don't fumble stupidly twice, right? Like, Mariota fumbled, really, really dumb play, and then what was it? Krosky, Merritt, McNichols fumbled again, a really dumb play, and what if they don't turn the rock over, right? Then you have a 67% own defense that could have put up 4 or 5, and it could easily get beat out by the Packers or Bears. So it's just like talking about it from a large field perspective. The Eagles are by far the best defensive play, but the path of them not getting there is the Commanders taking care of the ball. And, it takes one defensive touchdown to completely screw up a slate. And are they 6 times more likely to outperform, the Bears or Packers defense? And I think the answer is no. So I think I'll be overexposed to the Packers and Bears and even the Commanders where, one Hurts mistake. How many mistakes did you have against your Chargers? 5?
Yeah, bad. 4 interceptions and a fumble, 2 on one play.
It's like, again, this is where the ultimate 2-game slate where
Yeah, and I was just curious. Love has a higher completion rate on the road and a higher passer rating on the road. So I'm actually might be picking the Packers. Like obviously, if you want to fade the Eagles, if you need to play a little bit differently or want to get off the chalk, Packers might be still a play.
It's like 2 games late, right? Like the Eagles are
are
the best play, but
Yeah.
it's how many 60% owned guys do you want in your team, right? And is defense one of those positions that you want to take the risk on? And like, look, the answer is probably yes for a lot of people. Yeah, screw it. Like the Commanders suck.
We're also talking about Caleb Williams. You both and I are not Caleb Williams guys. It could easily be a debacle for that guy.
I hate Bo Nix too, and he put up 300 on his defense.
Yeah.
That O-line for the Broncos though is just so
well, and Bo Nix is streaky. He's going to have amazing games. He's going to have terrible games.
Yep.
That's why they're not winning the Super Bowl.
Let's go ahead and go through. I want to come through this real quick, and let's point out our top guy. Let's do an anti-play of the day, Felix.
Okay.
Someone above 30% ownership who, we're not high on, or you're not going to be as high on as the field. I know there's limited options, but at the same time, there's plenty of options to choose from. Someone with ownership that you're just not going to be, and then someone under-owned that you'll be over on as well. Because I want to get people, like we just built out 15 minutes ago, you can literally play the most expensive player at each position and punt once with John Fitzpatrick or Luce Musgrave, and it's literally possible. So what's a path where, we can get people where one play where it's not his own, right? That's the one thing. And then one play that, maybe you don't have to click.
I'm going to go with my anti-play of the day, which is at 76% owned, Josh Jacobs. I don't think he's got it against this defense. I think we talked about the Packers stepping up a little bit. And
who would be your under-owned play of the day?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious for both of us. It's going to be Kyle Monangai.
Yeah, Monangai, the touches are there, right?
Yeah.
11 carries, 18, 22. Like, that's been the trend for Kyle Monangai. I know that Swift is there, right? We all know that Swift is very capable. 11, 14, and 22. Sorry, I misspoke. But you get one touchdown, it changes the world. In the Eagles game, Swift and Monangai both went off. Maybe there's even a path where you could play both, right? Where let's say they do run the ball 40 times and get there. You still want to play Saquon, but I'd rather have Monangai. I'm with you there. He'd be my low own, but since you already took him, I'll go a different one just so people have multiple options. And honestly, you kind of run out of options, man. Like you really do. Like I
was looking at the above. It was hard to find. It was harder to find the anti-player than it was the pro.
I guess I'll steal the mojo of the chat. Like Jaden Reed, Bears sixth worst against the slot or bottom 5 against the slot. Can't remember. Jaden Reed stepping up potentially without Christian Watson. Big game. They need a big performance from him. Wide receivers kind of underwhelming. If you don't like one of the Eagles receivers, it's very underwhelming. If you like both the Eagles wide receivers, then it's an okay position, right? So Reed would be mine, and then I'm kind of with you on Jacob. I think we literally had the same thoughts there about like which anti-play. But if I had to go another one, I think I'm going to go with. Gosh, man.
Yeah, it's tough. It's not easy. And the anti-play is actually harder than the pro play.
Okay, I don't mean this to go against you. I'm going to go A.J. Brown. As someone who watched that game last week, and this is the only path, right? I'm going to have a lot of Jalen Hurts stacks. And I hate to do that. I hate to be the guy who prefaces it with, I'm going to still have a lot of him. But if you were to fade one guy, right, A.J. Brown or Devontae Smith, I think you could fade either one. I guess I should have done Devontae Smith because I like A.J. Brown more, right? But an Eagle wide receiver, I kind of want to go through this right now because, we're still within the hour.
Yeah.
When's the last time both of them went off in a game, right? And they're both going to be super high owned. So the game against the Raiders, Devontae Smith 2 for 50, AJ Brown 2 for 41 and 1, right? Goddard was the only one who really did anything. Okay. AJ Brown only got, 12 fantasy points, 12.1. Chargers, only 4 for 37 for Devontae, 6 for 100 for Brown. So, right, you got 1-0 for AJ Brown. Eagles game against the Bears, 5 for 48 for Devontae. Well, that was the game AJ Brown nuked. Okay, let's keep going, right? I just want to keep going. So that way people get this 6 for 89 in the Cowboys game, for Devontae Smith, 8 for 110 and 1 for AJ Brown. So that's the game that you'd kind of be hoping for, is a potential 6 for 89 from Devontae Smith. If I offered you 14.9 fantasy points for Devontae Smith right now,
So
you would.
I just want to point out that the last time, according to Google AI, the last time both AJ Brown and Devontae Smith went up for 100 yards was in December of 2024.
That makes sense. I mean, because they didn't do it against the Packers in that 10-7 game. They didn't do it against Lions in that 16-9 game. In the best game, and we know AJ Brown was absolutely awful earlier on too. So hey, your best case, I think, an Eagle wide receiver. If I'm going to pick Devontae Smith, because AJ Brown has been much more involved over the last 5 weeks, and I'd rather have AJ Brown definitely over Devontae Smith. So Devontae Smith is going to be my anti-play.
Okay.
But again, like we just talked about it with
we're gonna
it's like Jalen Hurts with the 3 guys there, and he throws for 3 touchdowns. It's like very, very probable, or very something that you could easily do and have on upside. Just make sure that you get unique elsewhere. Don't just play 60% bots the entire time.
Right.
All right.
Yeah.
You want to do props? Do we? Man, the props are going to be just so gross.
Let's see here.
I got to pick 6 up. I got it up. All right. Let's get a 4-legger. Right. One for
4-legger. Okay.
All right. So I'm pulling up the CFP. That's great.
Are we trying to make this crazy? Or are we gonna?
Bama is up 27-24. What?
Okay.
Happened?
It was tied at the half, wasn't it?
It was 17-17. Yeah, but I do not know. They just scored. Okay, so it was Deion Burks' 37-yard touchdown for Oklahoma from Mateer. I was going to say Mateer's passing prop. I accidentally clicked that. Was so high. I couldn't believe he was at a 291 pass prop. I was like, I thought that was a mistake. AJ Brown 63.5, Devontae Smith 57.5. I mean, this is your best wide receivers on the slate, by the way, is 63
yards. Yeah.
Like, if you want to get unique with it, man, like absolutely get unique with it. All right. Let's do you want to do our guy, common unguy? Rushing yards?
Yes. What was it?
47.5 rushing yards for common unguy. I like it.
What's it for Swift if it's 47 for him?
I don't have one posted for Swift. Can you believe that?
That's weird.
Yeah,
he's questionable. That's why. Yeah.
Oh, if he misses, I'm taking Manungai over Jacobs.
I think if he's questionable, I mean, I don't think it's a true questionable, but
he could be RB1 tomorrow. Yeah. Genuinely, I would have him up there because he was so dominant in that game against the Bengals. But they also just went with him. Yeah. British Brooks had that long touchdown, but it was like his only carry. DeAndre Swift, I think he'll play. But
okay, so why is Zacchaeus' number so low?
He's going to be out there the entire freaking game.
The entire game. He's listed for 26.5 for
I saw that too. I really want to do it.
I think that's the second one. Yeah, I think that's the second one. That one seems way too low.
The Bears. All right. I think gonna go to the Commanders here.
Okay.
Oh gosh, man. Talking about gross.
9.5 yards. Okay.
I want to do an under, man, but man, they really did a good job making you not want to go under on Ja'Cory Krosky or McNichols, even with
I think the under on the rushing yards for Chris Rodriguez, man.
I just think he'll get dead. Like if they want to have a chance, unless it's Ja'Cory Krosky who gets the touches, right? Like if they want to go with the hot hand.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see the. I'm excited to continue development of Bill Krosky-Merritt. I like the combination. Yeah, I mean, that sounds like they'll split carries. I hate that. I hate it. I'm going to go Debo. You know what? We're going to go with the over 4.5 receptions.
I like that. I like that one. Yeah.
Kind of falling more in love with these slot guys, Debo and Jaden Reed on this slate where raw score, if you got me 15, I'm probably taking it here. Yeah. 4.5 catches over on Debo catches.
Trying to look for anything that makes any kind of sense.
It's not the sexiest game in the world.
It is definitely not. If we would have had like last night's game and introduced it here, that would have been great.
Everyone would have hit the overs.
Yeah.
Except, God, who didn't? It was Jackson Smith and Jigma did.
I put 300 yards for Sam Darnold and 100 for JSN combined with 300 for both with Stafford and 100 for Puka. I mean, I was like, oh yeah, we hit this. We're going to overtime. Oh, we're definitely going to hit this.
Oh my god. I think, granted, they did come back, but I think Darnold is Andy Dalton.
Dude, I think that Shaheed played, man, changed their whole season. I'm a believer of momentum. I'd like maybe they win a playoff game. Maybe they lose the second one, but I think they might win because of that.
I think Darnold gets happy feet, and I won't trust him in a big game. My big takeaway is he won the game. He ended up being clutch in the fourth quarter when it mattered in overtime. But again, it was a lot Shaheed punt return. It was a long run by Kenneth Walker. It was a long, little flare-out pass to Kenneth Walker. It's very Andy Dalton-esque when they had some good teams, and it was Jackson Smith and Jigba is just, the AJ Green of that team.
Yeah.
Giovanni Bernard, Jeremy Hill. That's the team I just keep coming back to, where it's just it's so talented, but can you trust Darnold when it matters? I don't know.
They don't have anything really up for the Packers. I'm just trying to find a pick six, and it's just a lot of Jordan Love.
There's no Packers receivers post. I'll tell you what, we can do a range check on Jaden Reed and say people to check it tomorrow and just take whatever the prop is. I might
whatever the prop is for Jaden Reed just take the over.
Yeah, because that would give us a 10x. So whatever it is on Jaden Reed, I'll save it and we'll do it that way. I think that I was looking at the same thing too. There's just nothing posted about the Packers except love. All right, we appreciate you guys for watching again. 2-game slate, a little bit different. Sorry for those who are looking forward to the full slate, but plenty of content will be out for that. And you'll have the show in the morning on Sunday, the Morning Wood. Also, an Up to Lunch show with JSU, DC, and Statsational. Be sure to check it all out. For Felix and I, we appreciate y'all for watching. Have a great rest of y'all's night and have a great Saturday as well. Bye-bye.